This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
Yarg.
I don't even know what the lighting... Oh, there it is. How's it going, everybody? Everybody have a great Thanksgiving tomorrow. I might come on later in the evening, I don't know, but we'll see. There's Steph May. I tried calling her today, but no answer. All right. Every time she doesn't answer, if she doesn't answer a phone, I always think, man, maybe something's going on. But I'm usually I'm right. And there's Blue sleeping again. Yeah, so there's an update in the Stephanie Crone Overholts case. They've made an arrest. That's the case with the lady that had the tattoo that she was found. I think her body parts were found floating near in the water near Tampa. I guess my phone doesn't really ever ring. Well, listen, I didn't say I missed a call or anything. Shush. Let's see. Yeah, so there's been an arrest made. My mind's just so jumbled around right now because I've got like I just kept looking at all these different cases that would lead me to a different one, and over here, and over there, and over there. And eventually I go, oh, wait, I got to put some of these together. A lot of them are up in the Maine, New Hampshire. There's tons and tons of cold cases up there. It's crazy. A second, looking for a image here. I know you guys remember the case we were talking about on the 20th. I think it was 4 days ago. Of her, she had the tattoo that had her 3 sons' names on it. Stephanie Crone over Overholts. Overholts. And then WFLA did an update earlier, and here's the press conference right here. Okay.
Ruben Delgado, the interim chief with Tampa Police. Just wanted to brief everybody this evening on the Stephanie Crone Overholts case. As you all know,
so your body was in parts, and they found many parts, and one of the parts had the tattoo on it, and that's what led to somebody up in Pennsylvania recognizing that as their daughter.
Detectives have been working nonstop for almost 2 weeks now on the investigation to her death. We're relieved tonight to announce
she had like 3 Facebook accounts.
Lutz resident Robert Kessler, who's already in custody on an unrelated drug charge.
Yeah, so the thing is, I've got, let me show you the map over here. So I found where this, hold on. Yeah, Robert Kessler has an address here and here, but Lutz is a little bit north. It's up in, right there. So I don't know if they're considering this part of Lutz. I mean, it's not that close, really. I mean, it's 8 miles away. So I don't know if this is still considered like. Let me check something out. If you zoom in here, and we went to a. Yeah, looked at a place here that has right there, for example. And let's see what the address is. Does it say Tampa or Lutz? Yeah, see, it says Lutz, L-U-T-Z, Florida. So I don't know if I don't think I found his current address. I have the one from 2020 and one from 2016. So here we go.
Is being charged with second-degree murder and the abuse of a dead body charge. Stephanie, who's originally from Pennsylvania, was staying with Kessler and Lutz when her family reported her missing. After seeing our pleas on the news and with the help of each and every one of y'all here tonight, our plea to help identify that tattoo, we were contacted by her family. Through some of our investigations, we were able to identify an address that was associated with Stephanie that belonged to Mr. Kessler. When we went out to speak to Mr. Kessler about the missing person report that Stephanie was filed upon in Pennsylvania, he told us that Stephanie was staying there for a while, but however had left a few weeks prior. However, through our investigations and some of the evidence that we were able to recover, it was quickly determined that what he was telling us was not factual. So with the help of, well, as you know, on the 14th is when we went and spoke with Mr. Kessler. On the 16th is when we located Stephanie's car with the help of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. And then through
Welcome, Mystic Rogue.
Our investigative means, through some search warrants that we did, we were able to locate enough evidence. In fact, we located some of Stephanie's blood in her car. And we did a search warrant on Mr. Kessler's house where we found more blood and a pair of shoes. FDLE and the medical examiner's office worked with us very closely, and we were able to determine that the blood in all of those cases belonged to Stephanie. So that's when we ruled this a murder. So today, he's charged with second-degree murder and abuse of a dead body. This is still ongoing. We wanted to get this information out as quickly as possible. I probably won't be able to answer all of the questions that you all have tonight. But I just want to stress that we believe it's extremely important that we let the Tampa community know that the person responsible for this heinous crime is off the streets tonight. There's still a lot of work to do with the detectives. We're working very closely with several agencies. I want to thank a few just from what we did from starting on the 11th when we were in McKay Bay searching for Stephanie's body. So FDLE was a big part of this investigation, still is.
Yeah. So Stephanie Crone Overholts, she's from Pennsylvania. She moved down to, went to the Tampa area. She didn't really have a place to live, apparently. So then this Kessler individual gave her a place to stay. And then, she just kind of went missing. And then they found body parts floating around in the bay down there. And I think we actually have the, hold on. Yeah, right exactly in this spot right here is where they were searching. They found some body parts right there. So in this bay right there. So where he used to live is right there and there, but I think he now lives up in this area. So I'm sure he was familiar with the area. Probably drove off this bridge in the middle of the night and just threw her body parts off after, he killed her somehow. And then he decided to chop her up into bits. The thing is, most of the time when when somebody's chopped into parts, it's not the way that they were killed. I mean, sometimes you get that with like the, mafia or some kind of, cartel or something like that. But in this case, it was done purely to be able to transport it. People do this. But here's the thing. I've told you guys, how many times have I told you guys what I'm about to tell you? If you are a person out there, whether you are trying to just cleverly dispose of a body or whatever you're doing, if you chop up a body, you should get an extra 25, 30 years in prison just because you have the ability to do that, right? Like you killed this person and you went, oh God, hey, I've got an idea. Let me just start sawing her up. Okay? That's a sick person. And I would start there. Okay, sir, you get 25 years mandatory for chopping the body part up. And now we're going to discuss what your punishment is on the murder. Because it's disgusting. And anybody that has the mental ability, obviously people that are, work in funeral homes, they don't chop body parts off like that. But I mean, they have to deal with cadavers and so forth. But if you're sitting there chopping up off body parts so that you can hide a body, man, you have a whole nother level of depravity that's just waiting to get out. I mean, how do we know your next murder won't involve that? Because you're a psycho. Thank you, Diamond Painting with Anxiety. And by the way, if you guys would like to help the channel out, we're only got 6 days left in the month. We're going to be donating a lot more money to charity at the end of the month. When you send money in the super chats, it helps support the channel as well. I send in about 45, 50%, 40 to 50% of the net income each month to charity, and we've done $38,000 so far this year. Okay, and usually it's right at more closer to 50% because I take some out of PayPal, throw it in there, and there you go. And also, if you're a channel member, that goes to the same revenue and ad revenue, which is pathetic on YouTube. Okay. All right. I think ad revenue is something like $400 or $500 a month. Can you imagine? You do all those shows for 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours, and the total ad revenue is $500. I do 150 hours of show every month. That's kind of crazy now that I look back. And you get $500. Yeah. So you guys have done super chats over 500 in a night before, okay? And on donation night, it's usually way more than that. So that's what I'm saying. It's like the ad revenue is a joke, okay? Hey, thanks, Rita Schaefer.
The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, Pasco County Sheriff's Office came down to help. Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission was also a big help with us, as well as the U.S. Coast Guard. And then again, the media and the public for getting our information out as quickly as possible and helping us identify Stephanie and helping us get to the bottom of this case. So I'll take any questions that you all have now. I may or may not be able to answer all of them, but I'll answer what I can.
What was the relationship?
So according to Kessler, it was he met her somewhere at a fast food restaurant, and she had said she was living out of her car at the time, so he invited her to live with him. Sorry? Yeah, we're still working with the ME's office. The full report's not complete to the ME's office. We're able to say it is a homicide, but the actual death we're not going to release at this time. So.
She's probably strangled to death. Or
exact
shot,
day,
I guess.
It's
Hey,
hard to
thanks,
say.
Maggie.
We know we have some activity on the 5th and 6th by the water that we're still trying to piece together.
Maggie B wrote, "Happy Thanksgiving, Gray and Freaks. Thankful for all you do." Well, thank you. And we're able to do what we do because of you guys. So it's just all one sort of, I don't know what you call it, like a team, right? Like I do the shows, you guys support the show, and then we're able to do cool things, right?
on the bridge throwing stuff into the water.
Right.
Oh, you hear that? He said he saw somebody on the bridge throwing things into the water. Boom. That's exactly what I guessed looking at where she was found.
It's part of our investigation. That's part of piecing together that timeline. Can't say with 100% certainty, but that is part of the case, yes.
Can you explain to us what's the next in the investigation and if you're still asking the community for help in case you know that?
Yeah, so the detectives they still have a lot of work to do. On the latent investigative side, we're always looking
family,
for
there
more
you go.
information. If somebody, now that this comes out,
The freak family,
if they
that's
saw
what we call
something
it.
or they saw them together, any information like that would be extremely helpful to the case. But we've met with the state attorney's office, we met with Florida Department of Law Enforcement and the medical examiner's office, and you know, we're confident in that we have the right guy off the street.
Can you explain to us that he is already arrested and is charges? Can you explain to us about his criminal history?
All right, but by the way, everybody, no politics at Thanksgiving dinner, okay? You cut to the next scene. No way, he didn't say. You know it.
So he has a history. He's been in prison several times. And a lot of it is for drug activity. He is currently in jail now or in custody now for a drug charge.
Has he picked up on that in anticipation of these murder charges coming afterwards? Was this something that you guys...
Do you anticipate
It
murder?
came out of our investigation. I wouldn't say it's anticipation of it, but it was something that we investigated.
WFLA interviewed the guy prior to being arrested.
We're still working through all that. I don't want to release all that information yet because some of that is still pending, but I think we've released a couple pieces that we've told you all about. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Based on the investigation, based on the search warrants that we conducted, there's several other investigative things that we did. So anytime you desecrate a human body or you do something to the human body, that's the charge that we did.
Yeah, it should be a hell of a lot more than what they're giving for this.
Yes, sir. Good. All right, thank you.
That's it. Boom, he's out of there. So cool. They made an arrest in that one. And yeah, maybe you can bring a friend with you named Brandon. So you can at least say, hey, let's go, Brandon, and then, you know, sort of sneak that one in. Come on! That was good stuff. Yeah, they always do that. They always have like these charges out there that they don't really care that much about, so they can use for something bigger later. They go, oh, cool, yeah, we've got that. We can bring him in on that one. Okay, I have, where is it? Yeah, I think his name is Robert Lee Kessler. And, I mean, he has got just the most extensive criminal history you've ever seen. I mean, it is... Okay, you know, he's got, you know, these ones are nothing. Careless driving, unauthorized possession of a fraudulent, I'm not sure what the remaining part was. Possession of unlawful possession of personal identification of something else, probably, somebody else. Battery, domestic violence, boom, there's one. Then he's got battery again. This is like 2014. Assault, 2014. I mean, it never ends down here. Let me see what we got at the bottom down. Theft in 1993. Theft again. Theft. Grand theft, second degree, 1986. Resisting officer without violence to a person, cocaine possession, cocaine, petty theft, grand theft, cocaine possession, forged stolen licenses, cocaine again, I mean, this guy, it just goes on and on. It just never ends. You could scroll on for like 25 minutes. And why is he walking around, I guess, in public? Well, he's only 69. I mean, he has about 40 cocaine situations. Okay, it's wild. But anyways, at least they've got him arrested. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's killed more people. Because how do you, at the age of 69, is that really when you just go, well, I'm going to kill somebody and then I'm going to chop them up? Okay, no, I bet you he's done something else. And he probably got away with it those times. Especially if he's doing the, dismemberment and he put them in other places. Maybe he got lazy at the age of 69. He doesn't sound like somebody, I mean, at the age of 69, you're kind of, winding down that sort of behavior, right? Like, at 70 years old, you don't even really have much of, you're not really going to be out there sexually, yeah, whoa, I guess, I got to get out there, ooh, have this crazy desire shit going on. So that means he's just a psycho. Think about it. At 70 years, that means he is just a psycho. That at 70, he's still, hey, I've got an idea. Here's what I'll do. I will cut her body parts off, and then I'll throw them around the city somewhere. You see, that's really strange. I think they need to look into this person, because that means he has always kind of been like this. It's not something new. Thank you, Diamond Painting with Anxiety. Alright, so that is basically the update on that case. Let me show, I do have a picture of him somewhere in here. Hold on. Yeah, I think it's on this WFLA website. There he is. See, that's him right there. He kind of looks like a serial killer, doesn't he? I mean, at some point you're going to see him on Murderpedia, and they're going to, probably going to get some of his DNA here pretty soon, start lining him up. With a bunch of others. It sounded like he probably wanted to, hey, I'm letting you have this house. Maybe you could perform some sexual sexual activities on me. And she probably didn't want to. And then he probably got really angry. How dare you? I let you stay here. And then he, whatever he did to her. And then he killed her. No, Lee D, it's what I wanted to call it. Everyone always thinks they're going to help me out with a word. Let's see. Marine. Remember. But yeah, that probably would have worked too. Sexual favors. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Any thoughts on this one? Yes, how dare you? It's almost like people are sitting there going, hey! I mean, there's been times where I literally correct a word and within 5 seconds, less than that, and somebody's already typing it in. Like if I forgot a name of somebody. Eek! Thanks, Marine Co. I'm just teasing you, Lee D. Here, everybody type in Lee D's face that she likes to do. Here we go. Where is it? There we go. Hold on, I'm going to do different versions of it, though. I like that one. All right, here we go. For some reason, you know what? You know what I feel like when I see that face right there? I always feel like so down. It's like somebody's just looking at you like, like, wow. That's crazy. Or something. I mean, what does it mean, that one? Have you guys ever told me? Come on, Lee D. What does that one mean? Let me know. Oh, come on, Perry. What you guys kidding, right? Like, you don't think Lee D knows that I'm goofing around? It doesn't matter. Sending you love. Oh, shit. Well, there you go, everybody. I'm screwed. All right, because I don't think anybody is really going to want to help me get out of here. Lee D just threw me right into the jail. Oh, God. Yeah, if you need to talk. Man, am I seeing 3 of those? Oh, boy. I might be in here for a long time tonight. It's my fault. It's my fault. I'm gonna make that same face. That's what I feel like.
Gosh, Crane, you really done it now.
Oh man, so wait a minute. I was down minus 11. Okay, now it's minus 10, minus 6, minus 1. Okay, we're getting there. Thank you, Beholder. One Sly Angel. Where's your vomit face, Beholder? I haven't seen that one in a long time. Oh, I know you're just flipping crap. Oh, there he is. And Perry Mom and Laura Nelson. There we go. I can get out now. Thank you guys for bailing me out of jail. Oh, and there's Laura Nelson. I definitely got enough to get out and a cab ride to the hotel and... Wait a minute though. Wait a minute. Blooming Heather and Zozo, you guys make that face to me all the time. Wait a minute. Zozo makes that same face to me all the time. So now we know what the real meaning was. Okay. Thanks, Beholder.
You are a tough boy.
See? There it is. See? Right there. Yeah. Yeah, I've never been arrested or anything. Sorry, guys. Thanks, Leedy. Well, I'll get out of here now. Thank you. I thought I was going to be in there for a long time. Let's see. Yeah, I like the dancing taco makes me want to eat one of those, doesn't it? For you guys. All right, so this is what the guy looks like. I think that he... Let's see, what is the video? Oh, that's the same one that we watched. I wouldn't be shocked at all if he hasn't done something before. As a matter of fact, what I wanted to try here, that's Stephanie Crone Overholts. That's the woman that after he killed, dismembered and threw in the water. So let's try this. So his name is Robert Lee Kessler. And we'll say Florida. Let's just see any time at all. I bet he came from somewhere else though. That's 1987. Who was arrested on a charge of shoplifting, later stiffed the best value in for a night stay. Police said Robert Lee Kessler had left his... Yeah, look at this. That's him, and that's one of the charges. He stiffed a hotel. Robert Lee Kessler had left his belongings with a clerk at the motel. Well, now it just means he's dumb as hell. So who knows if he's ever done another one. Kessler had been arrested for shoplifting at Kmart at 10700 Biscayne Boulevard. When Kessler returned to the motel March 2nd to pick up his belongings, the clerk asked him to pay the bill for $39.70. Kessler said he didn't have the money. He picked up his belongings and left, police said. There you go. See, he actually is in the newspaper, if you can believe it. 1987. Here's another one. Record. Let's see. Robert Lee. Oh, so he got married. Awesome. I'd like to see what happened to her. 1925. He wouldn't have been born yet, so that can't be him. 1963 he would be alive. He'd be like 20 something. Hey, thank you, Mystic Rogue. Happy holidays to you. Let's see. Mr. and Mrs. Lee are, that's not him. It's a combination. That's not him. Here, let me do 80 to 2018. Doesn't look like he's in there much, other than that one that we just found. That shoplifting, that's definitely him. And his age made sense there too. What's this one? Oh, that was the same marriage license to Ruth Marie Goldston. Huh. And I just want to see if anything happened to her. 1999. What is this? Obituaries. Golson, Mathis, Rebecca. It's probably the daughter. Oh, that's the. There it is. That's Robert Lee Kessler and her got married in 1988. I'm just kind of curious as to what happened to her. But anyways, that's the update on that case. All right. And we're going to move on now to... I was going to do a little bit of a... Like yesterday we were talking about Olenchuk up in Maine. And Dan Carr sent an email. I didn't want to just start redoing everything. I mean, not redoing, but I was kind of just done for the night. It was already 3 hours and some odd minutes. So there was a couple interesting things. I think I narrowed down a few different things. This is the Lookout Hotel, and I think I guessed that that's what that might have been. And I hadn't gone down the street view, but when you go down to the street view here, you can actually see it right there. It says Lookout Hotel right on the front. I think it's been remodeled since, because I looked it up online, and it's in the similar shape, but been totally remodeled. And then right here it says Mary Olenchuk was last seen alive on Sunday, August 9th, 1970, 200 yards from her home at approximately 5 o'clock. She was standing beside a maroon car, possibly a 1967 Chevy. The driver of the car was described as a white male, mid-30s, wearing dark clothes. On August 22nd, 1970, at 1 o'clock, Olenchuk's body was found in a barn at the Parson Estate in a Kennebunk by a Kennebunk officer. Location of the barn was on Wentworth Street in Kennebunk. But I can't find Wentworth Street in Kennebunk. Okay, there's a map, though, however, that was provided that Dan sent me. We showed it on the screen for just a little bit, but it really... I don't even know if I have it in this one. Is this the... Yeah, so page 1 might have it. Let's see. I don't know if I kept the map, but it showed... It's a really poor map, and it showed that it was between Highway 9 and Highway 1, apparently off of, this Brown Street here, but then it was also mentioned that it was on the Wentworth Street, but there isn't one. Okay, there isn't a Wentworth Street in Kennebunk. Now, there might have been, and you can tell these really rich families live there. They mentioned the estate, the Parsons estate, You know, there's areas named after them. I don't know exactly where that was back then either, even though I looked that up too. I looked it up in the paper, but there's another Parson estate in Maine somewhere else. You know, so it just got really confusing, but it sounds like it was right around in this area. Or that way. Hey, thanks, Mama She 13. Yes. Freaks and turkey. I was thinking of tomorrow trying to find like unsolved murders that happened on Thanksgiving. You know, to just round off the day of Thanksgiving with murder and mayhem. Okay, it'd just be absolutely fantastic. Okay, also let me get that article back out again. It was way more detailed. It was in the newspapers.com, which I didn't check because I'd had such good luck on the other one in those smaller areas. On the I think it's like an Ancestry newspaper site. Okay, the body was discovered by Special Policeman George Labarge, who had been searching for the girl all day. He was probing the area around the Parsons farm on Brown Street. So we have Brown Street. That is the street that I have in that area. We just don't know where Parsons Farm is. Or barn. No, it says Parsons Farm. Let me try that one. Yeah. Well, see, they're nowhere near where they need to be. It's right in this area. So maybe it was bought by somebody. We just don't know. Okay, the barn is about 9 miles from the Olenchuk summer home, Cohen said. There was evidence of a homicide, but definite findings could not be made pending an autopsy. A state police car. See, this is a case from last night, so if you didn't watch last night, you wouldn't know it, but she was just in this small town called, somebody corrected me on how to say it. It was, might have been LM, actually. It was Olenchuk, maybe? Like Olenchuk, something like that. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but so it's in this town, and this is where her home was. I found that on a map. It's right in this area, and her bike was right next to the hotel. In the articles, it was underneath one of these arches right here. So I think the arches were different back then, but her bike was, just parked right there. That's kind of what you might do if you pulled over, and apparently the person was asking for directions or something, and then kept talking to her, and then she eventually got into his car. Like, hey, can you just show me? Because I'll be right back. I'll tell you what, I'll buy you a whole bunch. Who the hell knows what this guy said? Okay, so he picked her up from there, drove her all the way out to this barn, a barn that's in this general area here, and they found her body underneath a hay bale in an abandoned farm. Wasn't even being used for anything. The state police car with the man with her father was actually in the car. He was taken out to the site. Okay, so here's a better description of what happened. The young girl was reported missing by her mother at 7 p.m. on August 9th when she did not return home from a bicycle ride to the business section to buy gum and a Sunday newspaper. Police found the bicycle in the archway of the Lookout Hotel. See, there you go, about 200 yards from the Olenchuk summer home. So we can actually, if we just go 200 yards down, you're right around in this area. And so that means she lived in one of these homes, just right here, something right in there. And then she got on her bike. Her neighbor lived across the street, apparently. And then she got on the bike, pedaled up here like this. Kind of it's a little bit of an uphill first leg here of the bike ride. And then apparently, I think it's even further. It's up here. Yeah. So this is the hotel right here. And then she was biking up here, and then somebody probably, maybe she was even resting after pedaling up that steep hill for a minute and just was walking it for a moment just to gather her breath or something. And then the guy asked her some questions, and she left her bike there with the candy, apparently, that she'd already bought. I mean, she was heading home at this time. That's the thing. So she'd already gone into town and was that close to making it home. So I guess what I'm just saying, she'd already driven by there, got into town, got candy and everything, and then on her way home is when she was spotted right here. And then the person actually drove her this direction, because it says the person drove her towards the beach. So what's crazy is that they drove right by her house. A witness who was staying at the hotel told police she saw a girl matching Mary's description talking with a man in a dark maroon car in front of the hotel. She said she saw the girl get into the car and it drove away towards Shore Road. Okay, I think that's that direction. Let me make sure. I thought that was Shore Road. Okay, so it was this way. It took her out. I thought it was Shore Road was down by the shore, but it's not by the shore. Right like this. So she got into the car. So that means the car was probably on the right-hand side of the road, and it maybe even, I don't know, like she must have been coming this way because she was going back home, and somehow she ends up over on this side. I don't know. But he's driving up this way, and he's heading to Shore Road, which is right here. Okay. All right. So then he abducts her at that point, and that's how he ends up driving all the way. We don't know where she was killed because her body could have just been dumped where it was found in an abandoned barn right there. For the past 12 days, air and ground search parties have scoured southern coast of Maine. Helicopters from Fort Devens, Massachusetts, piloted by Green Berets. They went all over the place. And then they actually ended up finding her body in that barn under the haystack. But I just wanted to, get a little bit more accurate here. She lives there. And this is the downtown part. So she probably went downtown. Because remember, she was seen at, the marginal house right here. I think she waved or something to somebody. Remember that? Like she was down here on a bike, and then two people staying at the marginal house saw her wave. So she made it all the way over to here, and then made it all the way back, was heading back home, and was only 200 yards or so from making it home. And she ends up getting into a car with somebody else who took her back this way, and then a couple weeks later they find her body underneath the hay over there. Okay, so I just want to update that with a little bit better information. Yeah, he might have known it was there because it was abandoned too. It's also possibly, because remember it was hidden out of the way, you couldn't see it. That's right. You couldn't see the barn from the road, so it does make you wonder if he'd seen it. And this case also reminded me of another one that we did, and that was, the one last night that I was trying to remember? Hold on, what's going on? Why is that frozen? Hold on. Yeah, Judith Hand was her name. You remember that? And what's crazy is Judith Hand was 1971. This is 69 right here. And look how close this is. It's only 100 miles away, which is nothing. And remember, this is the case where I think she was at her parents' house and then was walking
to school. Maybe she was going to go over to somebody's house to babysit. I can't remember all the details, but she was walking like this, and then she disappeared. And then they found her body underneath some sawdust, a sawdust pile right over here. And that was 1971. In another small little town, too. So I could definitely see these being related. You know, similar situation. Remember, she was walking alone. Let me just throw out one article, see if I can remember it. The details might be a little. Let's see. They thought maybe it was a hit and run at first, but that's not really what it was. They won't say why they determined it to be a homicide. Yeah, you guys remember her now, right? We did this back in April of this year. Girl found dead under sawdust pile. So you got one underneath the bale of hay, now one underneath the sawdust pile. A Farmington police officer Thursday morning uncovered the partially decomposed body of a young girl believed to be that of Judith E. Hand, 15-year-old local girl who had been missing since September 10th, according to state police. And this is the 24th, so she'd been underneath that pile for 2 weeks. The girl's body was discovered by Harold Hemingway, a member of the search party checking through a swampy area about 200 yards off Middle Street and about 75 to 100 yards from Kappa Delta Phi fraternity house of the University of Maine. Hemingway said he was checking the area around a sawdust pile and felt something was amiss by the way the material was piled up. Poking down through 4 or 5 inches of sawdust, poking down through about 5 inches of sawdust disclosed a partially decomposed female body believed to be that of the Hand girl. The body was taken to the Thayer Hospital in Waterville, where an autopsy was to be performed by pathologist Dr. Irving Goodoff. The spot where the body was found was about a half mile from where she lived with her 5 brothers and 3 sisters, plus her parents. The father was described as being critically ill and disabled for the past several months. The missing girl is the 4th oldest child and was described by police chief as quiet. See how similar that is? A member of a family that worked together. The sawdust pile was described as being unused for at least 20 years. So another place that, sort of, like an abandoned little area. The sawdust pile hadn't been used for 20 years. About 25 to 30 feet high, about 60 feet long, and roughly 40 feet across. The area adjacent to the sawdust pile is interlaced with paths, Chief Orr said, but added that the nearest path was about 50 feet away and through pucker brush. If the Hand girl's death is a murder, and the Attorney General Department is calling it, as they're calling it, it would be the first murder in Farmington in 40 years. Let's see, what does it say? A search for the missing blue-eyed blonde has gone on since she was last seen at about 3 p.m. near the Farmington Municipal Building on Friday, September 10th. At that time, it was believed that she was headed for West Farmington to go to work as a babysitter. The spot where the body of the girl was found was about 200 yards from Middle Street, on which the girl lived. See, again, really close to her house. I mean, it's crazy. Let me, where is this one? So it's right here, and I think she lived right here. And then she just walked right down Middle Street right here. And then somehow, right in front of the municipal building here, she walks by there, and she's headed over here somewhere to go babysit, and she ends up being killed and found in a sawdust pile right here. And I did all those measurements that they said. There used to be a sawdust pile down in there. So, I don't know. Those kind of have a similar feel to them, to me. And by the way, in the previous case that we were just discussing, hold on, of Olenchuk, when she was found, there was a ligature still around her neck. The person had just left it there, some kind of a cord of some sort. All right, so I just want to throw those two out there. So this is what I'm saying. Today was just this wild day of like, oh yeah, and I was just all over the place. And I knew it was funny because I thought, wow, this sounds like that other case. Right? Last night I was thinking, it sounds like that other case, so I wasn't quite sure. I knew it was up in the Northeast somewhere. And it turns out it's in Maine and only 100 miles away. So you've got one where she's put underneath a one's, I think, 13, the other one's 15. They're both buried underneath a pile of something like sawdust or hay in an area that hasn't been used for a long time, abandoned. They both were close to their homes, walking down a street, and one was riding, but was off her bike while she was talking. And then they both disappear, and then they're both murdered. So, to me, there's some similarities in that one, except I don't know how she was killed in the hand case. They didn't tell us. Yeah, Chloe's over there eating regular dog food. Okay. I'm going to move on to the next one. There's some interesting ones here tonight. Oh, I did want to throw this one out here. This is totally random, but it's a current case. I want to know what you guys think of this. This is one, I think Ada posted this in my group. Rita Hughes investigate.
What's that? A lady now,
Guns drawn in the front yard. A hit and run leads to a deadly shooting.
Well, this is a really weird one. You probably won't hear another one of these in a long time. One similar, anyways.
A lady is shot. Who shot the lady, sir?
A pregnant librarian shot and killed after police say she pulled out a gun on a motorcyclist that she hit.
Yeah, so this is absolutely her fault. And it sucks because she's a librarian and she's pregnant. And, that's the sympathy. Everybody be going, oh, wow. I feel really bad. I mean, that's horrible because a child got killed too. But she did all of this. She hit a motorcycle. A guy that was on a motorcycle with her car because she was angry. Then the person on the motorcycle, he was just going to drive off, so they followed her. And then when she got home, she ran inside her house and got a gun. Came out, he had a concealed weapon permit, and he just shot her. Absolutely justified. I mean, what a psycho move to do.
The dude on the bike shot her.
And he was justified in
Orange City police say
in following her, right? Like if somebody hits your car, you're not just going to let them just drive away, right? Because they have to, you got to get insurance and do all this stuff.
she was shot in her front yard, but they say she started the whole thing by hitting the motorcyclist with her car on purpose and then driving to her home to go get her gun. Fox 35 Stephanie Buffamonte joins us live from the crash scene with the latest on the investigation. Stephanie.
Yeah, she didn't give a damn about her own kid.
Yeah, it all started here at Wisconsin Avenue and Volusia Avenue. Police say Sarah Morales hit the motorcycle driver here at this intersection. That's when he followed her down the street and shots were fired.
You followed me!
You followed me.
a damn lady now. You got to pull the gun on.
You can hear the chaotic scene unfolding as police say a man shot Sarah Morales multiple, followed her down the street, and shots were fired.
You followed me. Turn me out.
You followed me, she said.
What's that? A damn lady now. You got to pull the gun on.
You can hear the chaotic scene unfolding as police say a man shot Sarah Morales multiple times outside of her home on Wisconsin Avenue. Police say Morales intentionally hit the man while he was on his motorcycle, and that man and a witness followed Morales to her home. A witness told police
Well,
Morales...
that's interesting. So a witness was just in another vehicle and was like, wait, I'm going to, wow, she just hit that guy. And went there also.
Went inside and came out with a gun pointing it at them. And that's when the motorcyclist, who has a concealed weapons permit, shot her.
The lady is shot. Who shot the lady, sir? Hey, what's that? Something here. The dude that got hit on the bike. The dude on the bike shot her.
In the 911 call, the dispatcher asked the witness to perform CPR.
Is she breathing, sir? Hey, is she breathing? No. No. Okay. She's still breathing. Yeah, she's still breathing.
Morales later died at the hospital. Her family tells me she was 5 months pregnant. She had an 11-year-old daughter, too. Morales was a librarian at the Pearson Public Library. People who work nearby say it's shocking and sad to know she was carrying a baby.
I believe when it's your time, but Jesus, you don't want to go that way.
And she says road rage is out of control in the area.
I don't even know. I feel the only person I really feel bad for is the baby, the 5. I mean, this lady could have killed the guy on the bike originally, and then a witness and the guy on the motorcycle followed the lady as she went home, and then when they got there, she runs in the house and goes, "You followed me! Well, of course we did, because you hit my bike with your, And then she pulls out a gun, and then he had a concealed weapon, and boom, he did exactly what that's what those guns are for, actually. Like he has that gun because if he didn't, she could have shot him and claimed anything. Maybe even the witness. I mean, who the hell knows what was going to go on there? I don't know. I don't really have any. I feel bad for the 5-month-old. But this isn't one that I'm like, I don't have any outrage. The only thing I'm outraged is that she hit him while he was on his motorcycle. You sent us an email to let us know that there's nothing? I don't even know what that is that you're referring to. I think she would have shot him. Yeah, she would have. It's a really weird story, though, isn't it? That's one that you just aren't going to hear very much. That's like, I think that's once in the history of mankind type of story. Yeah. Let's see. You never know what the other... Yeah. Yep, she had a bad day. All right. Gonna move on now. We're all over the place. See, these are all the things that just kept coming in. All right, now this is one I've done before, but I didn't have the other newspaper source, so it was just so little. But this time I want to. There's only 6 different articles, and we're gonna go check this one out. Ellen, and I think it's Choate. I don't know how to pronounce that. Choate, maybe. This one, maybe. It's got to be Choate or something, right? This is 1977 in Maine also. Okay. A badly decomposed body was found Sunday in a wooded area off the Old Country Road. I do have her in here, but it was just hardly anything. Wow, I had another person with that name in there. That's just unbelievable. Never even seen it in my life, and I've got 2 cases with Choate as a name. Yeah, so this is right around in this area somewhere. Let me put the, what road is that? It's Tibbetts Road. So we're talking about Old Country Road. That might not even be the right spot at all. Oh, yeah, no, it's right there. It's right on it. Okay, so it's on Old Country Road, right there. Okay, a badly decomposed body was found Sunday in a wooded area off the Old Country Road. Investigators directed by State Police Sergeant Dale Ames searched an area between Newport and Carina and in search of clues. Sergeant Adams said that a passerby came up upon the body in thick brush a short distance from the road and within sight of a nearby dwelling. An initial examination, police said, indicated that the skeleton, covered by tattered clothing, may have been lying in the brush for as long as 2 years. The sex was not immediately determined. Medical examiner Dr. John Down of Pittsfield said he detected what was described as unnatural hole in the skull, probably a bullet then. He declined to speculate on what might have caused the hole. Authorities have started to search missing person files and plan to use dental records in an attempt to identify the body. This is her right here, by the way. This is 1970. She went missing in 1975. She was found in 1977. Authorities said Monday night that they had identified the body of a woman found slain in Astuca Azella Gardens, June 19th. Huh. Is that... I can just type that in. Let's see. Come on. A-S-T-I-C-O-U. Oh, that's a different one. Sorry. I think it has her name. I don't know if... let's see. That's a different person. Leslie E. Spellman. So investigators are making routine inquiries of family members. The identification, which police had sought fruitlessly for the last week, was considered a big step in efforts. The body was found partly clad in the gardens by... I think we went over... We've done this case before. Let me see. I think her name is mentioned in the article somewhere. What's no. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't want to read something that's not related. But the only reason I would have pulled it up is if her name was in there. Description of the slain woman and some of the other information investigators had accumulated. It would have been the describe the clothes of the woman. Where is this? Yes, this is in Bangor, Maine also. I think her name was mentioned in there. I just can't see it right here. Hold on, let me get to this one now. A check of dental records on Wednesday led to the identification of a body found Sunday in Newport as that of a young woman school teacher from Philadelphia area. Investigators continue to regard the death as suspicious, but revealed no further developments in the case. At the same time, small army of state detectives put in yet another day in the case of a young Massachusetts woman found slain a week and a half ago in the... So this is... They were putting them together. So this is the other case, Spellman. We've actually covered that one. That was a weird one. too. It's still, I believe that one's still unsolved too. Okay, now this is one just about her, I believe. A young woman whose body was found beside Old Country Road in Newport Sunday was scheduled to go to work at a Bangor school for preschoolers at the time of her disappearance 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, she's living up in Pennsylvania, and she just said, I mean, she didn't just say, she probably was looking for a new adventure in life and was going to go down all the way down to or over to Maine and become a school teacher there, right? So Mrs. Martha Bicknell, director of Children's House Montessori School of Essex Street, confirmed reports. Thank you, Kit Kat. Yes, get that wave. Confirmed reports Thursday that Ellen L. Choate, 24, of the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area, was due to work as a substitute teaching assistant at the school beginning in June, but failed to show up. And that was June 2nd, 1975, she was supposed to be there. And then she just went, poof, disappeared off the face of the earth. Miss Bicknell said Miss Choate had done student teaching at the Children's House for 3 weeks in May 1975 before returning to Philadelphia to graduate from a year's Montessori training, which represented postgraduate work for the woman. She was then scheduled to substitute teach at the Bangor School for the last 2 weeks of 1975 school year. The woman was reported missing during the first week of June 1975, had indicated she would accept a full-time teaching position at the Children's House the next fall. We had a verbal commitment for her to work with us, Miss Bicknell said. Thanks, Linda Howell, as in Linda Molden Howe. The school director said a friend of Miss Choate contacted the school and was quite concerned when she failed to show up for the job during the first week of June 1975. Yeah, because I guess she'd worked there in May, went back to Philadelphia to finish her Montessori school training, and then said that she would fill in as a substitute for the last 2 weeks of the school year, and then she was going to actually move there and become a full-time teacher starting the next fall. So her not showing up was a really big red flag right away. Police were later notified, but no trace of the girl was found until Sunday, when her partially decomposed body was discovered in Newport. So she wasn't found until a year and a month later. 2 years, 2 years and a month. Newport Police Chief Charles Jackson, he was investigating the death of the woman with Maine State Police, said Thursday that investigators didn't have any actual proof of where the dead woman worked or was going to work before her death. But he admitted that the Children's House was one of the places police were checking on. Thank you, Kate. Miss Bicknell said she had not yet been contacted by police, but allowed they had probably had difficulty locating her if they had tried because of a change in address. Jackson said investigators were still awaiting reports from Dr. Henry Ryan, chief medical examiner for the state, regarding determination of what caused an unnatural hole in the side of the woman's skull. Police have said they are working on the distinct possibility that the woman died by violent means, perhaps from a gunshot wound to the head. Ryan reported Wednesday that the body had lain unburied in the spot where it was found for at least a year and probably 2 years. In an unrelated investigation, state police investigating the North Harbor reported Thursday that there were new developments in the case of 27-year-old. Yeah, so a whole different case. I mean, there's just so many cases over there. It's crazy. Thanks, Jessica Schubach. Death of teacher ruled a homicide. The state chief medical examiner said Friday that a young school teacher whose decomposed body was found here Sunday died of a gunshot wound to the head. Dr. Henry Ryan told the News that his examination of the remains of Ellen L. Choate, 24, of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, showed an unnatural hole in the woman's skull was a result of a bullet wound. Ryan said he had not determined exactly what type of weapon was used in the shooting, which he said he would now classify as a homicide. Prior to Friday, investigators had indicated that the woman's death was suspicious, but had declined to determine if it was a homicide. Ryan said he was just about finished with the medical examination of the victim's body as of Friday. Let's see. Miss Choate's body was found off the Old County Road in Newport Sunday, where it apparently had lain undiscovered for about 2 years. The woman disappeared in early June 1975, about the time she was scheduled to report for a temporary work in Bangor. The director of Bangor, the Child's House Montessori School, told the News earlier this week that Miss Choate was due to arrive for work as a substitute teacher assistant at the preschool on June 2nd, 1975. She was also scheduled to return to take a full-time position the next year. And that's just such a bizarre thing. It's almost like, she made it all the way into Maine. And then we've got this right here. That's her right there. So, hold on one second. All right. Hey, wow, look at you guys. Thanks, Mama She 13. Dressed up as a turkey. Oh, no way, man. Thank you, keeping it real. I can't stay tonight, but wanted to say happy Thanksgiving, Gray and Freaks. I'm thankful for you helping so many families by covering their cases. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. And then Mama She 13 said, looking forward to seeing Gray dressed as a turkey tomorrow. Well, I never said I was going to dress up as a turkey. Who said that? I know, the bobblehead's better. Okay, so let's see what this says here. This article, it's kind of crazy because it's pretty recent. It's this year in June. So the Maine State Police Department hopes someone may have information that could lead to an arrest in an unsolved homicide that happened in the 1970s. Ellen Choate, 23, was traveling from Philadelphia to Bangor to begin a new teaching position when she disappeared on June 1st, 1975, according to a Facebook post by Maine State Police on Tuesday. Choate's body was found off Old Country Road in Newport on June 26, 1977. Anyone who may have information about the death of Ellen Choate is asked to contact Maine State Police Major Crimes Unit at 207-973-3750. See how little information that they even have on this stuff? Yeah. You would think that traveling to bank, it seems like they'd have more information. That's it. See, that's why I'm saying, like, these kind of cases like this really never get talked about. Yeah, I've already found, I know where Old Country Road is. I've already got it. It's right here. See? There's no street view on it or anything. Well, we can look down it right here if we want. So the person drove down this and then just took this little turn here and drove down there and threw her body and then probably came back out and just drove away. See? Just drove right down like that. And there you can actually see it's just a long straightaway. So from here you could have seen it and went, oh, look, a dirt road. That's a good place. And just went straight like that. Boom. Drove all the way down. Wherever it was. I don't know exactly where it was off of this road here. Good night, Sassafras Kath. You know, I used to do my show at 9 o'clock at night. You guys are like, wow, you got a late start when I start at 7. It's like, nah, it's not really. Yeah, not really. All right, so that was Ellen. I hope I'm saying her name right. Choate. Or Choate. Choate. Anybody know how to say it? Oh, let's try it. Let me look it up. How about this? Hold on.
Choate.
Oh, just Choate. No, it's... Oh, really? Just Choate. That's it. Just Choate. C-H-O-W-T is what they have. Okay, right there, look.
Choate.
Yeah, like boat.
Choate.
Well, that's what I just said, Lee. I just told you that. I like how everybody's an expert right after you tell them how it's said. Yeah, it's Choate. Yes, Gray, it's like boat. Gray, yeah, Gray, it's like boat, everybody.
Choate.
Yeah. All right. Everybody's an expert after the fact. It's amazing. Thanks, Zozo. Wow. God, I wish I had like a, just sort of a, where's the poop emoji? Where is it? There it is. There it is. That's what you use that for? Your Megazoid for 22 months and you type in Choate. Yeah, what a waste. Man. Okay, here we go. We're doing the Mary Ellen Tanner. This is a Mary Ellen Tanner case here. And let's see. And there's only one newspaper article that I could find on it. Alright, so it's fear has gripped this resort area since, and this is in 1978 in Kennebunk, the same town, or the same area that Olenchuk was found in. You know, where her body was found in the haystack inside the barn. Well, now we've got another murder in that same tiny little town. I mean, what are the odds of that? So this is Kennebunk. See, right here? And this is 1978, so this is 9 years after. Huh? What are you talking about? Yeah, in a barn, yeah. Same thing. Fear has gripped this resort area since a hitchhiking high school majorette was beaten to death, but the police chief Wednesday said parents who let their children become animals can only blame themselves. And I've showed a picture of it. It's a barn. Yeah. We've tried to warn them. This murder is the product of raw goods some of the parents around here have been producing. Wow. What the hell are you talking about? Parents who let their children become animals can only blame... Wow, let me read this again. Fear has gripped this resort area since a hitchhiking high school majorette was beaten to death, but the police chief Wednesday said parents who let their children become animals can only blame themselves. We've tried to warn them. This murder is the product of the raw goods some of the parents around here have been producing, Chief Frank Stevens said in an interview. I've told them about it. Yeah, that guy's pretty mean. I've warned them, but parents don't want to be responsible anymore. We have tried to teach them that for every girl out there hitchhiking around alone, there is some crazy son of a bitch out looking for her. Mary Ellen Tanner, 18, would have been a senior in high school this fall. She was last seen alive on July 7th when friends dropped her off to presumably hitchhike home. Her parents said they thought she had gone to visit friends, but they did not know where or whom. Miss Tanner's body was found in a nearby field 2 days later. Stevens said since the body was found, fear of more slayings have been rampant in town, but parents still would not take responsibility for getting their teenage children off the streets. It happened all across the country, and now it's spread to Maine. Parents aren't raising their kids with any self-respect, so they don't respect anything else either, he said. The kids around here have become just like animals. They don't come home. They live and take drugs in the woods. They eat like animals. They just don't have the respect and value of human beings that kids had 30 years ago when I joined the force. They don't respect anything or anyone. Wow, he's got a really negative view. I mean, I kind of, I think there's some truth in there, but, it's like you don't really need to be blasting that out. So it happened in July. This article was in, late July, so it's just after. And then this is actually from 1996 here. That's her right there. Well, I'm pretty anti, the way hippies are. I'm not really big on that. But I don't think I would be talking. I might just keep that to myself. You don't need to be saying that stuff right after your kid dies, And you do see that people are a little different during different time periods. Like right now, look at the difference in kids now compared to the behavior of kids, 50 years ago. It's insane, People would actually have conversations. Now they send a text message. Hey, you want to go on a date? Ding, 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 send. Great. I don't even know if people talk anymore. Do they open their mouth or? Yeah, no social media. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is 1979. 78. Okay, so in 1978, the body of an 18-year-old Kennebunk High School senior was found in a hayfield in a remote area of Lynham. I think I mapped that out where that was, I think. Yeah. So she was found in this field right here. And earlier in the evening, she was dropped off right here in town, and she said she would just hitchhike, and then eventually, they find her body in a field over here. But let me just read through this one. Mary Ellen Tanner, a popular student who participated in school band as a majorette, had died of blunt trauma. But what made him want to say that about her? At one point, 25 detectives were assigned to the case, checking hundreds of tips, but no arrests were ever made. Little has happened in an investigation in recent years until last month. In July, a police informant gave detectives a puzzling tip. Go check out the bed of an old rusty pickup truck parked at a farmhouse in Arundel. Detectives found the pickup bed covered with leaves and debris. The owner of the truck, who was not a suspect, told police it had been there about 10 years. Brian McDonough, a Maine state police detective, said detectives took paint samples from the truck and will compare them with evidence collected 18 years ago. This is an article from 1996. It was updated, though, in 2017. Because of the murder occurred so long ago, it is uncertain whether modern crime tools such as DNA testing will provide crucial clues, McDonough said. We are taking 18-year-old evidence and evaluating it by applying today's technologies. Some old physical evidence will be re-examined, he said, along with the paint samples from the truck bed. All of the evidence is being analyzed at the Maine State Police Crime Laboratory. It's uncertain when the results will be available. McDonough declined to provide specifics of either of the significance of the paint on the truck or how the informant came to have information about it. We were told the truck was at this location and it would behoove of us to look at it. That's pretty interesting. That sounds like somebody really had specific information, but I mean, after all those years. At the time of the slaying, investigators collected volumes of evidence, including scores of photographs taken of the site where Tanner's body was found. It's uncertain whether she was actually killed there. Larry Labrador, who lived at the Arundel house where the truck bed was found, said his nephew bought the truck second-hand about 10 years ago. They removed the bed and left it in his yard. Labrador said neither he nor his nephew ever knew Mary Ellen Tanner. The police asked me if they could have a look at it, and I said, go right ahead. The latest tip in the Tanner case is one of hundreds that have been investigated in the mysterious death over the years. State investigators followed leads, interviewing people in Maine and other states throughout the country. Tanner was the last seen alive about 6 miles from home by friends who dropped her off at Lower Village in Kennebunk. She told them she'd hitchhiked home, but she'd never got there. Okay, so let's see. Tanner was last seen alive about 6 miles from home by friends who dropped her off at Lower Village in Kennebunk. She told them, the friends who dropped her off, that she'd hitchhike home, but she never got home. She planned to attend a funeral in Massachusetts that weekend, so when she didn't return home, family members were not too concerned. Neither her father, Charles Tanner, nor any other family member will now talk publicly about the girl's death. Why not? It's a painful memory for them, said McDonough, who continues to keep in contact with Kennebunk family. At the time of her death, the state medical examiner autopsy revealed that Tanner was 3 months pregnant and had died of blunt trauma. Oh, well, there you go. That's going to be the answer. I think whoever the father of that child is, especially if she decided she was going to keep it, no weapon, and back then, I don't even think abortions were done, right? 79, were they regularly done back then? No weapon was ever found. Tanner's body was covered with cuts and bruises. Her killer left her in the Lyman field partially clothed. Her jeans were missing, and her body was badly decomposed. Well, it's a little bit interesting, though, that there might be a sexual assault here with their pants off, and then why would the father need, father of the child be needing to sexually assault her? At the time, the rural hayfield, or it could have just been making it look like that. At the time, the rural hayfield had been a sort of hangout for local teenagers who sometimes went there to party. She was found within a couple 100 yards from where the party was, but it's a pretty big area. You'd really have to have been stumbling in the dark to have come upon her. On a visit to the site last week, investigators carried voluminous case files that helped them pinpoint the exact site where she was found. It was not an easy task. I bet I could have done it with those photos. That's what I do. You give me about 5 photos of something and I can just right on it. Thank you, Mama 4. Just got in on Rewind. Happy Thanksgiving. Awesome. So you'll hear me say thank you in about an hour. Thank you, Mama 4. I'm saying this to you from the future. Actually, when you're listening, it'll be weird. Why is he saying thank? Oh, that's right. I sent the... You know what? I just realized the people that are... I need to comment more to the people on Rewind, right? Assume that there's people there so that they get the same feeling we get later. Like later on, I'll be saying... I'll say something to the Rewind people, and then like an hour from now, they'll hear it and go, what is he talking about? Oh, the stuff I heard an hour ago. Oh, yeah. It'll be awesome. We can get back at them all, every one of them. Rewind people. Maybe that would be a good t-shirt. Are you one of those Rewind people? Okay. Or put like a rewind with a not symbol in it. Yeah. She was found within a couple 100 yards from where the party was, but it's a pretty big area. You'd really have to... So they went out and they tried to figure out the exact spot. Now home to a herd of cattle and a couple of abandoned trailers. It's reached only by winding dirt roads. There are miles away from the nearest 2-lane asphalt thoroughfare. Let me see. Yeah. Let's see if those trailers are there. Yeah, that's Gracie Evans Field. And yeah, there's no paved roads or anything. Oh man, that would have been cool. Come on, Google Earth, get stoned and go to Maine and drive down all these side roads for us. Thank you. Whoever did it has to have known where the place is, McDonough said. So that makes it sound like maybe it could be the person. Dan Alho was 22-year-old pilot. Body spotted by pilot? Is that? Oh, okay. At the controls of a Cessna 180 when he spotted Tanner's body in that summer of 1978, shortly after takeoff from a dirt runway. You can kind of tell that looks like it used to be a runway, the shape of that. I remember I always used to look down at this time. I happened to look down and saw her there lying in the grass. He said others in the plane speculated that the corpse was just a deer, but when they circled the plane and landed again, he said, there was no doubt that they had found the victim of a brutal homicide. For Alho, the images of that hot July day are not easy to shake. Interviews with police, someone running to get help, the bloated body of a young woman laying face down in thick green grass. You don't realize how close to home something like that is until it happens. Then you realize that it's not New York or whatever. It can happen anywhere. Police investigators are frustrated. Once a case gets nearly 2 decades old, it is increasingly harder to chase down new leads. We're always hopeful that someone will remember something. Somebody will have a tip, and that will and that we'll get that stroke of luck or that big break, McDonough said. We just don't know. Well, there you go. That's the case of Mary Ellen Tanner. Just nothing. Doesn't it seem like the boyfriend, though, would be the first place you'd turn in that one? It does me. Alright. Moving on to another one. Thank you, Timothy Cecil. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh yeah. 4 deaths, including 1 apparent homicide, were recorded in Somerset County over the holiday weekend. This is also in Bangor, Maine. 1980, July 7th is the date of this, but July... They have the wrong date on this web page that I went to. For sure. They had July 15th, and she's mentioned on July 7th in this one. So the body of Rita St. Peter, 20, of Anson, was found Saturday morning on a dirt road off of the campground road in Anson. According to the Attorney General's office, St. Peter's, that's her name, her body was discovered by a young man who used the road to exercise a team of horses. There was no apparent attempt to conceal the body. Authorities ruled out any possibility of suicide and stated that the death was a homicide. An investigation is being conducted by the state police with the assistance of the Madison Police Department and the Somerset County Sheriff's Department. So this is on Monday over the weekend. I bet it's supposed to be the 5th, not the 15th. We do have suspects, said Senior Assistant Attorney General, but no arrests have been made Sunday night. The results of an autopsy on the body were being kept confidential. Abandoned 40-foot well, which Samuel was hoping... Oh, okay, that's a different story there. So it ends right here on... There's 4 different cases in here. All right, so then the next day in the paper, on Tuesday, July 8th, the cause of death of a 20-year-old Anson woman, Rita St. Peter, is being withheld due to the sensitivity of the investigation. So stated Pat Perino, Deputy Attorney General. He continued, it is critical to the investigation that no further information be released at this time. I doubt very much that we'll have anything more before Tuesday. While an autopsy conducted by a state medical examiner, Dr. Henry Ryan, has definitely determined the cause of death, Perino refused to release the information or the nature of the murder weapon. St. Peter was found by a man who was exercising his horses on the dirt road Saturday. Where the body was left, there was no obvious attempt to conceal the body, and it's been reported that there was a substantial amount of blood on the body. While Perino did not claim he had any definite suspects, he did state he had several good leads. He also refused to comment as to whether any arrests were imminent. Perino did not say that she was last seen on the bridge between Anson and Madison. Or he did say... So Perino did say that she was last seen on the bridge between Anson and Madison. So where is that? So in Madison, Bangor. Is that right? Chris is responsible for the turkey, so she's going to be in the kitchen. What are you talking about, Beholder? Oh man, you guys are... Yeah, correct means correct. And where, well, if you want to know where correct came from, it, oh, you're telling to pronounce that out. No, it's correct. It came from, like you go, correct. It came from where I was working at this place. This lady that I worked with was really dumb, like a real dumb person. And she'd always say, "Hey, Gray, can you help me do this?" And it was a computer system for mortgages. And I went over there and I would help her. And as I was helping her, she kept saying, "Correct," every time I'd tell her how to do something. And that was because anybody walking by would actually think I was asking her questions. It made me so angry that now anytime I hear somebody go, "Correct, correct," like you're giving them new information that they've never heard in their life, and they go, "Correct." Like, what are you doing? Yeah, you didn't know it already. You don't need to say correct. Yeah. All right, so we have that down there. So when you hear people say correct, you just type that one in. All right, get what I'm saying? Yeah. Boom. Every single one of the emojis has a meaning here. Okay, every one of them. They're not just sort of randomly chosen out of nowhere. Other than maybe the screaming lady, except it matches the sound effect of the screaming lady that we have. Right there. They all mean something. Yeah. Oh, it would drive me nuts. Every time she would do that, I would just, yeah, that was unreal. Oh, that's a different one. Yeah, so between Anson and Madison. Where is this? This is in Bangor, Maine. No, but it's in between Anson. Hold on, where is this? Anson, Maine. So there's actually a place called Anson, Maine. And then where is Madison? Oh. Well. Is that right here? Oh, I think this must be the bridge right here then. $12:30. Anyways. That was Friday evening. While the victim was known to have hitchhiked in the past, Perino denied knowledge as to whether she was seen doing so on the evening of the disappearance. Oh yeah, there's a little blurb here. In 1980, Anson was the scene of yet another still unsolved murder. The beaten and crushed body. Listen to that. The beaten and crushed body of Rita St. Peter, 20, was found on Campground Road in Anson. So out here somewhere. And she was just left right on the road. Just and I immediately thought, God, it sounds like almost like she was ran over is what I thought when I was reading it. She reportedly had a fractured skull and had been beaten severely and had been run over by a vehicle. There you go. See? And police have suspect in St. Peter murder. While response to the state police request for an information on the murder of 20-year-old Rita St. Peter has been good, authorities report there is no closer to an arrest. Deputy Attorney General Pasquale Barrino said Wednesday the number of responses has been very helpful and the police have several suspects. The cause of death is not being released, he said, because it is only known to the investigators, the medical examiner, and the killer. So they must not think it was the beating and the car. State police investigators are trying to piece together what happened between the time St. Peter left the Depot bar and restaurant in Madison. I wonder if that's still there. Yeah. Well, it's probably one of these because that bridge is right there. Campbell's, Wicked, blah, 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 blah. You could probably look it up in newspapers.com and you get the address of it. Let me see how quick I can get that one. Hold on. Depot Bar and Restaurant. What is it, 1980 to 1990. Maine. Now that's the article I just read. Yeah, it might not have anything in the paper because it's in such a small little town. Perino denied the persistent report that has been circulating in the area that St. Peter was run over by a vehicle. Well, it's true though, right? The prosecutor said he was anticipating an arrest in a short while and was optimistic about the investigation being concluded. Okay. Then we got one more on July 30th. Anson murder similar to others. The murder of Rita St. Peter, the 20-year-old Anson woman, whose body was found on Campground Road here in July, has similarities to several others. While Deputy Attorney General Pasquale Perino continued to refuse to release the cause of Miss St. Peter's death, he said there were some similarities to other unsolved murders. He recalled the death of 24-year-old teacher from Philadelphia, Ellen Choate, whose skeleton was found near the old county road in Newport in June 1977. See, here's one of the ones, another one that they're comparing it to. We already just went over that one. While en route to work at the Children's House Montessori School in Bangor, Perino mentioned an unsolved murder in a Bar Harbor involving a female that had similarities to St. Peter slang, but he did not say what the similarities are. He denied that there was a connection to Janet Baxter murder in Norridgewock in November 1976. Miss Baxter's body was found in the trunk of her car. And see, we've had 3 cases where bodies were found in trunks in that area. The prosecutor said that over 100 people have been interviewed in connection with the St. Peter murder. Reports show that she left the Depot restaurant in Madison at 12:30 a.m. The evening of July 4th. Her body was found on the Campground Road in Anson at 10:30 a.m. the next morning. The cause of death has not been made public. Only the perpetrator, medical examiner, and the investigators know it. All right. Then in 2011, industry man arrested in 31-year-old homicide case. A local man was arrested without incident this morning at his residence on Butterfield Lane after being indicted by a Somerset County grand jury earlier this month. J.S. Mercer It's Mercier. So I don't know how that's probably a French pronunciation or something. Let's see.
pronouncenames.com.
Mercier?
Okay. Mercier. Okay, there we go. J.S. Mercier, 55, from Industry, has been indicted on the charge of murder in connection with the death of Rita St. Peter on July 5, 1980. St. Peter, who was 20 at the time, was found dead off Campground Road in Anson. She had been seen walking across a bridge from Madison to Anson in the early morning of July 5th, having spent the previous evening drinking at a Madison bar. She had been staying with friends in Anson and working in Skowhagen restaurant at the time of her death. According to Maine Department of Public Safety spokesman Steve McLaughlin, Mercier was indicted following an unspecified review of evidence at the State Police Crime Laboratory with forensic technology. McCausland said that state police detectives working the Attorney General's office and State Medical Examiner's office presented the case to Somerset County Grand Jury earlier this month, which secretly indicted Mercier on September 16th. Mercier was arrested by MSP detectives Bryant Jacques and Adam Kelly at 8:30 a.m. this morning. His initial appearance in court is expected to be Tuesday. All right, so anyway, this is back in 2011. Then 2012. Let's see, where is that? Prosecutors introduced graphic photos of the body of Rita Peter as evidence this morning. St. Peter, I mean. This morning in the murder trial of J. Mercier of Industry. He looks just like a serial killer, this guy too, again. not that there's a specific look. I'm sure everybody looks like one on certain times when they wake up in the morning, maybe. And the photos showing St. Peter's bloody, partially clad body came during the first day of testimony in the July 1980 killing of St. Peter, who was 20. Mercier, 57, so he must have been only, 20 himself, is accused of beating the young woman to death with something similar to a tire iron and then driving over her body with his pickup truck. He has pleaded not guilty to the charge. Prosecutors also say Mercier sexually assaulted her. Assistant Attorney General Andrew Benson called for the photos to be shown to the jury under direct examination of former game warden James Ross, who, with then State Trooper Barry DeLong, were the first law enforcement officers to arrive at the scene. St. Peter was last seen leaving a tavern in Madison late July 4th, 1980. Mercier also was seen in the area by witnesses at about the same time. Mercier was interviewed by DeLong, now sheriff, so he probably was in the bar waiting for her to leave and then got in his car behind her, maybe even said, "Hey, do you need a ride?" Now sheriff of Somerset County. The next day, Benson said, and tire prints from his truck were printed and kept as evidence. Benson said semen taken from St. Peter's body also was stored as evidence for 25 years before modern forensic investigation procedures could identify DNA. Mercier's DNA later was matched to that found with St. Peter from samples taken by state police leading to the murder charge. The trial continues this afternoon. All right, they're just covering it back then. J. Mercier, 57, accused of beating St. Peter with something similar to tire iron. The 7.5-hour jury selection. So they were selecting the jury. Then so that was during the trial. Industry man found guilty of murder in 1980 slaying of young woman. Members of Rita St. Peter's family celebrated and cried Thursday afternoon after hearing the jury convict an industry man of murdering the 20-year-old Anson woman. J. Mercier, 57, was found guilty of murder by a jury of 7 women and 5 men at Somerset County Superior Court at 2:45. The verdict brought closure to a crime that occurred more than 32 years ago. So there you go, everybody. DNA did it again. Yeah, because of the age of the case, it was a difficult trial. Missing evidence, witnesses who had passed away, and faulty memories of witnesses were among the difficulties. But DNA is, if you got DNA, man. Jacques initially was able to link Mercier to the smear slides taken from St. Peter's body in 1980 through a discarded cigarette, but that Mercier left on the ground, during an interview with the detectives in industry in January 2010. DNA was taken from the cigarette and matched to DNA taken from St. Peter's body. It took 30 years to make that connection, but Benson expressed satisfaction at the result. I think the wheels of justice are working excellently. Yeah, so good. I want to have some that actually have an answer too. You know, it's always so down and out when you're just like, so many unsolved murders out there. Let me show you this list, by the way. I was looking up cases the other day, and in a newspaper article, and in Maine, look at this thing. These are, I'm just going through this list right here, okay? Look at this. Some of these have been solved. Like that was one that was on. This is an article from 2000. So it had, you know, I don't even want to count them all, but these are all people on here that are unsolved murders in the state of Maine. If you can believe that. Unbelievable. So I'm just kind of working my way through that, trying to, you know, decipher, you know, which ones, you know, you type in if they've been solved. Most of them still haven't been. But there's Mary Ellen Tanner right there. Yeah. Well, I think Maine's probably a little safer now, but it's unreal. Okay, so we just did. Now we're going to do Crystal Perry. This is another individual, Bangor, Maine again, 1994. Brighton mother slain, daughter discovers body. There's only one article that I found in there. Hey, it's Emily Flotilla. Never illa. But you know, before I get to this one, though, I need to do my. Here, let's see. What do we do here? I do the apple. Not sure how that works. Oh, nobody's even over there, but I was going to do my the apple. Oh, there it is. All right, cool. So this could be the break again. Except, yeah, so you got to move it back. You've got to get the stem off. I guess, yeah. So now we got to do the apple to get to what's hidden behind the apple. I don't know if you guys can even hear me or not. I turned off the volume. We'll see what's behind the apple. There might not be anything at all. You know what I'm going to do, though? I'm going to start recording. Okay, that'll get rid of the stem. Okay. Or maybe I should make it every... Okay, there you go. I'm going to record videos of Blue and Chloe to put on there. Thanks, Lee D. And... Alright, there you go. There's Jessica Schubach. Oh. Hey, it's pronounced Choate. Okay. And there's another bite out of it. Okay, 2 bites coming up. Zozo and Emily Flotilla coming up here. Alright, there's the Kathy Friedenmaker. Here we go. By the way, that's exactly what it sounds like. Yep. Oh, look at that. One of them just jumped up on there. Well, I guess you won't get to see it. You gotta get some more bites out of the apple, everybody. But I'm gonna record videos to put there, I think. So once the apple, then you get to watch this cute video or something with them. Yeah, I guess the bits of the apple will just sit there. Oh, it's okay. If you can afford it, then you could please help out the channel. If not, then it's okay too. Here we go. Thank you, Sandra Halford. Oh, did Darlene have 2 bites? What do you mean? Another bite for Darlene? I don't know what that means. Oh, crap, I gotta go backwards. Wait, did I go back? That was too far. Okay, I'll make it to there. Maybe turn the camera a little bit. No, like rotate it, you know? Gotta rotate it up so we can see it. Alright. Oh, it got really small. Can you put it back over there? My wife's trying to help out. It's not working. Right there. There you go. Thank you. Okay, there's Mad Crocheter and Linda Howell coming up here. And one more to go. Oh, look at that. Looks like Blue. Oh, Blue took over. Oh, there's one. God, almost looked like Chloe knocked that last bite off of there, didn't it? I think they're just going to get the hell out of there quick. There you go. Wow, I lost 17 subscribers since the show started. That's amazing. I think YouTube's just all over the place. They don't even know what they're doing. Chloe! Chloe! Alright. Well, thank you guys. Oh, perfect timing. He's out. She's out. She was like sitting there waiting. Okay, is that enough? Okay, see ya. Okay, so this is got a case now of Crystal Perry, also in Maine. And this might be the last one, anyways. Yeah. So I did, yep, all those, okay. And this is Crystal Perry, a 12-year-old girl who woke up to find her mother slain early Thursday, ran for a mile through the darkness before she was able to rouse a neighbor and alert police. She ran to 3 different neighbors' homes before police in the southwestern Maine town were contacted about the death of Crystal Perry at 1:32 a.m., said State Police Safety Department spokesman Stephen McCausland. Occupants of the first 2 houses the girl reached apparently did not hear her. McCausland declined to say how Perry was killed or discuss whether police have any suspects. Many other details remain sketchy. Perry had been divorced for some time, possibly as long as 9 years, and worked in a shoe factory, McCausland said. She lived alone with her daughter in the ranch-style single-family home along Route 93. This is in, let's see, Route 93 in Bridgeton, Maine. Oh, so we're down in this direction. Yeah. So, now we're back down in that general area again where some of the other murders were. But, put that right. We'll just put somewhere around here. I wonder if there's even, let's see what a street view looks like. Yeah, man, street view's on there. So, very remote feeling out here. But, it could have been a long distance here. But it's in this area here, right, in Bridgeton. So somewhere from here probably to there, I would imagine. McCausland declined to say how Perry was killed or to discuss whether police have any suspects. Many other details remain sketchy. Perry had been divorced for some time, possibly as long as 9 years, and worked in a shoe factory. She lived alone with her daughter. Okay, well, let's see. Then in 2017, let's see. I heard her screaming no. Woman recalls the horror. This is actually in the Daily Mail in 2017. Woman recalls the horror of listening to her mother being raped and murdered while she cowered in her bedroom as a 12-year-old. Wow. Haunted by her mother's screams as she was raped and murdered by a brutal stranger, a woman has spoken movingly about her agonizing 12-year waiting to see her killer jailed. So, there was an arrest made in this. The killer entered the home in Bridgeton, Maine, where Sarah Perry, then 12, shared with her mum, Crystal Perry, 30. And they're saying mum because the writer is from either England or Australia. Crystal Perry, 30, and is believed to have raped the single parent. So it was, let's see, where Sarah Perry, then 12, shared with her mom, Crystal Perry, 30, and is believed to have raped the single parent before stabbing her more than 50 times, leaving her mutilated body in the kitchen floor, all as her terrified schoolgirl daughter cowered in the next room. Despite their hard work, officers found no solid leads, and all Sarah could do was try to move on with her life. But 12 years later, she received a call to say police had found a DNA match. And this is from 1994, the original murder. A local Bridgeton man, a Mason called Michael K. Oh, the Masons, oh boy. Called Michael K. Hutchinson, who was just 19 at the time of Crystal's death, had been arrested for threatening someone and a DNA sample linked him to the horrific murder all those years earlier. Finally, Sarah took to the stand at the Cumberland County Court, giving an impassioned speech about her memories of that night and how it had affected her. Despite pleading not guilty, Hutchinson was convicted and is now serving a life sentence. And so that's her right there, and that's her little 12-year-old, it's probably younger than 12 there, but that's the mother, Sarah, with her mother, Crystal. And that's actually Sarah now, in this article in 2017, 35. Recalling the day her mother died, Sarah said, "I'd gone to bed after enjoying an ordinary day with my mother and having dinner with her. I heard her screaming, 'No!' She was screaming, I didn't do a very good example there, but she screamed no before hearing a kitchen drawer opening and the sound of knives clinging against each other." Oh boy. At first, I wasn't alarmed. I thought my mom and her then partner were arguing. But there was yelling and a loud thudding noise, and I knew something was very wrong. There he is right there. Michael Hutchinson is now serving life sentence. When an eerie silence descended, Sarah summoned the courage to creep out into the kitchen where she saw her mom's body. She said, "I called 911 to get an emergency services, but the phone lines weren't working." It was May 12, 1994, in Bridgeton, Maine, the town where horror writer Stephen King, a native of the state, set his novel turned Netflix series The Mist. Fearing for her safety, Sarah ran outside and banged on neighbors' doors, but no one answered. So her heart thumping, she kept running for a mile before finding an open Italian cafe. All the way, let's see, I bet you that means that she was closer, like right over in this area. Because, let's just do let me just try something out here. That's probably still there. Cafe in Bridgeton, Maine. There's probably one, okay, it's right there. I'm just wondering if there was something on here, but these seem like these would have been homes. So she might have ran. Okay, let's see, hold on. Let's just say something like that. And that's already 2 miles. I don't know where that would have been. Fearing for her safety, Sarah ran outside. She banged on the door. All the way I was thinking Mom might be okay, although I don't think I really believed it. The police were called and she was dead. They did a really thorough investigation, and of course, I was the key witness. For a long time, they were convinced I must have witnessed something and repressed it, but I hadn't. I'd stayed in my room. She might have been dead if she'd said anything. Moving to live with an aunt in Texas, Sarah was gutted when, despite their hard work, the police found no solid leads. After that, she went to the University of North Carolina. Sarah, now 35, single, and working as a writer and a fact-checker, tried to put the horror of her mom's murder behind her, remembering how she was more like a sister than a mother. Some people thought we were sisters, she said. We would do things together. We'd go to the mall, out to dinner, and to the movies. Sounds like she was a good mom. Yeah. We were really close. She stayed angry with the man who had murdered the mother she loved, but was determined to move on with her life. Of course I was angry, she said. The person that killed her and had taken away her future and left me without her. But I thought she'd be proud of me for moving on and going to college. However, I didn't go home. It held too many bad memories, and the person who had killed her was still out there. Then, in 2006, she received a call from a main number sending her into a panic mode. As I answered, I was nervous, she explained. Then the police said something I will never forget. There is a DNA match. A local Bridgeton man, a Mason called Michael K. Hutchinson, who was just 19 at the time of Crystal's death, had been arrested for threatening someone. So that's when she's probably 12, right there. Sarah, 12, was hiding in the bedroom as her mother pictured... Oh, that's her mother. Wow, no wonder people thought they were sisters. I thought that was... Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, wow. Finally, after waiting for 12 long years, Sarah was... Finally, after waiting for 12 long years... Wait, hold on. Sarah, 12, was hiding in her bedroom as her mother pictured. So that's her mother right there. Man, I definitely can see that. A DNA sample linked him to the horrific murder all those years earlier. Finally, after waiting for 12 long years, Sarah would see justice done in 2007. She took to the stand at a Cumberland County court, giving an impassioned speech about her memories of that night and how it affected her. I went back home for the trial, she said in court. Hutchinson denied the offense, saying he was innocent, but he was found guilty. Convicted of murder, he was sentenced to life in jail. Reports from a 2009 appeal lodged at Maine Supreme Judicial Court, which Hutchinson lost, said the victim was stabbed over 50 times with sufficient force that the knife tip actually broke off and became embedded in her head, all in addition to the fatal wounds she sustained in her chest. At some point during the stabbing, the victim was screaming. The case involves a brutal sexual assault and murder. While Sarah is believed to have some closure, she cannot forgive the brute who killed her mom. Maybe I could if he admitted it, she said, but he hasn't, so how can I? I can't go and see him and have a dialogue. At least facing her demons, in the past year, Sarah has returned to Maine and looked into her mother's murder herself. At last, facing her demons in the past year, Sarah has returned to Maine and looked into her mother's murder herself. I've been back home, searched through the police files, and learned about my mother, she explained. The police put it in hundreds and hundreds of hours of work, and as a result, it was easy to convict her killer once they had a DNA match. Glad that her mom can finally rest in peace, Sarah feels sure she has grown into a woman she would have been proud of. I am living in Brooklyn, New York. I'm educated and I'm happy, she said. I'm sure she would think I've done well and be proud of me. After the Eclipse by Sarah Perry is available for pre-recorded now in audio. Yeah, so I think she did it's called the eclipse, like a podcast maybe, or a book, perhaps. And then there's another 2021. Yeah, so there it is. Please read After the Eclipse. Pick up a copy at your favorite local bookstore, at bookshop. These links are in the description if you want to pick that up. But there's the mom right there. She does look pretty young. You can tell why people might have thought that. And look at down here. Donate to RAIN. We donate a lot of money to RAIN. So far this year, RAIN has received... Isn't it 5,000? Yeah, RAIN's coming up. RAIN, $5,000 so far. Yeah, so you guys, I think that's going to be it. So you guys can get to... Yeah, right. So you guys can go ahead and get your... like, what do you call it? All of your Thanksgiving stuff ready. Oh yeah, there's a restaurant right here. Let me see. Restaurants. Restaurants in Brighton. Oh, yeah, right there, right? So maybe that's the one then. That's probably what I should have typed in. Thanks, Dan Carr. And then a mile up. Ew. Hold on. So you ran about a mile, so that would have been 1. So maybe somewhere right around in there. Well, actually, her name's probably... You could probably find it on Ben Verified. Let's see. Because that's 1995. Let me see. Her name is Crystal Perry. Crystal Perry. And... God, I hate this stupid... It drives me nuts. It always keeps it on this other setting. Bridgeton. I think I kept saying Brighton. Jeez. Bridgeton. Yeah. The thing should be 58, but they're going to say that that makes sense, actually. Now let's see what it says now. And probably says deceased in here, I would imagine. Yep. Deceased 1994. And address history. There's a P.O. box. And yeah, so she only had a P.O. box in Brighton. That sucks. So probably somewhere right around in here then. One of these homes right here. Somewhere around in there. All right. Oh, you can't see anything. Yeah, who cares? It's just right here. I mean, it's just on a map. If you go down the street view, you can look at it. See? I mean, maybe right here. I mean, this is about a mile. It could have been any one of these right here, though. You know, maybe it's this one. Yeah, all they have is a P.O. box in Brighton, 1991. And then she lives in Missouri before that. That P.O. box will just be in the middle, in the town there. at the post office. I don't know what he was doing. Let me read something really quick. What was that guy's name again? Yeah, that was a good article by the Daily Mail. Yep. So he would have been, yeah, he was really young at the time. He's only 47 now. And his address was 3 Maple Street. I bet you he lives right next to that bar. How much you want to bet? At one time. Yeah, look at he lived right here. And that bridge, let's see, that wasn't, well, this isn't the case with the bridge, but well, there wasn't a bar. I was thinking about the other case. So yeah, he just lives right in town here. This is where he lived in 1999. So let me get that on there. 1999. And this is crap. Hutchinson. And then he also lived, he also had a P.O. box there. Now this one you're getting kind of, you're heading in that direction now. See? This one, they didn't give a date, but now you can see maybe he had more visual contact of her at some points, right? And maybe this is where he worked, right here. So let's see. Come on. Now, is that a church? Yeah, maybe they went to the same church, perhaps. I don't know. Interesting. Right down the road. I mean, look at that. That road goes basically, it's what, 2.5 miles away? And then we got another one in Brighton here. Let's see where this one is. Now, and then right there as well. So this might have been where he lived at one point. And again, this one's right on that. You know, you live right there. You might go to the church that's right there. So this might be where he lived, and then he would go to that church, and then she's just right up the same road there. You never know, but pretty interesting. This is where he lived in 1999. So at that, he probably moved a little bit away from sort of the hot spot, like, wow, right on the same road. Then he goes over here, and that's the last known location that's been verified. Okay, there you go, everybody. We're all done. So yeah, it was interesting. I like going through those older ones like that, and then I like finding some that have a resolution, and some that, you know, some don't. I don't like that, but at the same time, it makes it where you can try to look into something and try to find, you know, any clue and get it out there, you know. I mean, because currently some of these cases nobody's talking about at all, right? They're just long forgotten in the dust heap of humanity. Just sort of like, yeah. So, anyways, you guys, thank you very much. I wish you all a great Thanksgiving tomorrow. Don't talk about politics. It's easier said than done. Yep. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Maybe. I probably will try to come on. And maybe we'll just do a call-in thing where people can talk about their Thanksgiving. All right? Who knows? Just hang out, really. And thank you to a couple new members. Welcome, Mystic Rogue, Diamond Painting with Anxiety. I thought she was already a member, though. Rita Schaefer, Maggie B. for the Super Chats. Diamond Painting with Anxiety. Marine Co. Lee D. Put me in jail. And then Diamond Painting with Anxiety. Beholder. One Sly Angel. Rita Schaefer. Perry Mom. Laura Nelson. Beholder. Lee D. Mystic Rogue. Mama She 13. Kit Kat. Linda Howell, as in Linda Molden Howe, the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Kate. Eugenie. Zozo. Jessica Schubach. Mama She 13. Keeping It Real. Kathy Freidenmaker. And Zozo typing in Choate. Just got in. Mom of 4. She's probably just now hearing it. Timothy, or not now, but in an hour she'll hear me say that. Timothy Cecil, Emily Flotilla, Lee D, Jessica Schubach, Zozo. Great, it's pronounced Choate. Again, okay? You see what I got to deal with, everybody? Emily Flotilla, Kathy Freidenmaker, Darlene Brown, Sandra Halford, Mad Crocheter, Linda Howell, and Diamond Painting with Anxiety. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. And we will see you guys tomorrow again. Happy Thanksgiving. And, yeah. Thanks for being here, watching a show on all kinds of different things. And see, that's where, when you're on this channel and you watch this channel, you have a lot of experience going over different crimes and just sort of getting a feel for what might be going on. And then as you see over time, your intuition related to crimes that we discuss is tremendously enhanced compared to other people who just watch the same case over and over again. Hey, what's Chris Watts doing today? Hey, did you hear the latest news on Brian Laundrie? Right? Forget it. Yep, everybody, we'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, Yarg. Be safe out there. Thanks, Yarg. That's right. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person.
Wow, that's scary. Who said that?
I did.
Oh, John Boy, hey, cool.
Click rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get you. Wanna stretch you. If you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. That's a green is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, free connector. And I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor. And I mean a spectre with a vector on his spectre with all respect, just remember I have a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender.
Yarg.
Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody. Talk to you. Hey, I like the way John Boy does Yarg. It's cool. Let me see if there's another sound effect. Hold on.
Yarg. Yarg.
Yarg.
Yarg. Yarg.
Yarg.
Yarg. Yarg.
Yarg.
やー
Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg. やー Yarg
Yard.
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 Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Yard.
Hey, I'm just going through the different sound effects, okay, you guys?
Gee, what do you mean, Gray? Hello. Hello.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Jake, what was Gray doing with the yarg sound?
All right. I know it's been a blank screen, but we'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, be safe out there.
Be safe out there.
Be safe out there. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody!
Yes, we said that already, Mary Lou.
Yes, we said it already, Mary Lou.
But yes, you said it too already after I said it.
What do you mean? I said it. Oh, forget it.
All right. See you guys. See you later. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, wait. I thought I'd come back on for a second and say I thought the verdict in the Ahmaud Arbery case was absolutely justified. I always thought it was just ludicrous what those guys did. You know, even if he was there doing something else, the way they tracked him down, ridiculous. All right, you guys? So I just want to let you know that I absolutely support the verdict in that one. Okay? There you go, everybody. I forgot to mention that earlier in the show because I was doing other stuff. All right. And again, happy Thanksgiving.